Please do.
Okay. By introduction, I'm Prince Crippler. I chair the Liberia CSO Wash Network. Basically, over a period of time, there have been a lot of inspiring programs that led to some significant results, but I'm going to single out one or two. The one I want to single out is what we call engagement with political leaders or legislators. During the 2011 elections, we developed with technical support from Oliver, team, and other colleagues. We developed a kind of method of engaging with would-be political leaders. I say would-be because by then it was during the campaign period and everybody was kind of vying for positions. So we thought to sort some meetings with those who were contesting, and our targets were senatorial and representative candidates. Before engaging them, we developed a tool called the pledge card, and then after the development of the tool, we arranged meetings with them, and then individual legislators or candidates were allowed to sign onto specific commitments in the pledge card, committing to address water and sanitation situation in their respective political districts. Following the elections, we went back on the table, tried to sort out who were those candidates that signed, that won, and then we documented all those that won, and then there was a follow-up meetings with those who won to have them recommit to the pledge card that they signed when they were just candidates, but then they were not legislators but were candidates. So they recommit by signing a revised version of the pledge card. In that context, what was changing was that they were no longer candidates, but rather political leaders in their respective political districts. Following that recommitment process, the next step was we had on June 16, which was the Day of the African Child, we had about 100 Liberian children from the 15 counties meeting with the speaker and members of the House of Representatives. And good to that because of the impressive nature of the Liberian children. In their meeting with the deputy speaker, because the speaker designated the deputy speaker and a couple of legislators to meet with the Liberian children. And the children were able to ask about 24 questions, ranging from why is it that Liberians are lacking access to safe drinking water, when it is something that could be easily achieved by certain factors. And based on the comment that came from the children questions, the speaker and the deputy speaker agreed to a high-level meeting with legislators, civil society, and partners. That meeting was arranged. We had pretty close to about 33 representatives and the speaker. Our entire House of Representatives number is about 72, and then we had 33 members that attended that meeting based on the meeting that started from the Deputy Speaker office. And then all of those who signed the pledge card were asked to go to that meeting, and they attended that meeting based on the commitment they made in the pledge card. Finally, the outcome out of that meeting was the fact that we were able to bring the speaker, that is the highest level of leadership in the national legislature or the House of Representatives, on the table. And then in that meeting and other subsequent dinner meetings that were held, a core group of legislators were agreed to be the focus point if we want to channel our wash advocacy issues, if we want to put a bill on the table, if we want to ensure that probably the budget has strong commitment on water and sanitation. Those are focus people that we will be able to meet and who are offered to kind of serve as champion for our team at the national legislature. That we thought was a very huge success, considering where we came from, where not many legislators were very well acquainted with water and sanitation issues. And as a matter of fact, before I left Monrovia, just a few days back, when I went to pick up my end water poverty package, I met with one of the representatives who have very huge passion for the sector. He's called Solomon Josh. He went to pick up a package, and he usually called me the watchman. So when he saw me, he came to me directly and said, "Hey, so how is our campaign? Where are we going? We haven't heard, of late, because they just returned from recess. We haven't heard news, new development, what have you." So, in my opinion, the fact that he sees me and we think that he has some obligation is on the basis of the pledge card that he has signed. We're all going to be in the right line. So that's a huge success for me, in our campaign. And then the final point I want to make is that immediately after the 2010 high-level meeting, UN meeting on water and sanitation, there was a 2011 multi-donor conference that was held in Monrovia, and that conference derived what we call a compact. Unfortunately, after the compact development process in May of 2011, the president could not sign onto the document that came out of the compact because of several other variables. The Minister of Finance was raising some funding implication technicalities. Other technical stakeholders like the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation was thinking that if the compact is signed, there's going to be a watch commission. It was going to be taking their responsibilities. And so there was a huge run of interplaying variables for which the president could not outrightly sign the compact. We developed a kind of campaign with support from the Liberia Watch Consortium, Water Aid, and other groups. We did about petition in 7 of Liberia 15 counties. We went to the counties on this poverty hearing framework, and then we had the counties dweller discussing with political leaders at the county level, and then deriving a petition where all of the delegates signed the petition, and then we asked our individual members to file copies of the petition to the office of the president. In that week, there were a barrage of petitions coming to the president's office from various counties, and barrage of media campaigns pointing to the petition, indicating that those were the views of the citizens. In November 2011, the president signed the Liberia Watch Compact based on the corpus of petition, even though the questions raised by the Ministry of Finance, the question raised by the Water and Sewer Corporation were all never answered, but the president signed the compact. So we saw that as a very success story that we need to point to in all of our advocacy agenda and in looking at our learnings. Yes, there are a couple of learning issues there. Some of the learning issues was the fact that we gathered line ministers were not adequately briefing the president on the true picture of what is happening. And then one of the ways to get the briefing going through was to use other sources, because in most cases, line ministers were being very political in their understanding of the compact or the water and sanitation issues in the country. And some of them thought that water and sanitation was not bringing huge political dividends on the table for them, because many people want to see roads, infrastructure, huge structure, since Liberia is underdeveloped in terms of infrastructure, in terms of basic social services. The critical things that most people will see very quickly is the issue of education infrastructure. And if you put a hand pump, and put a water point somewhere, many Liberians believe that there is a bundle of water resources, but they are not looking at the quality, of the water resources. But once you can look all around you and see water, then water is not a problem. So it was critical to have some group that would be able to clearly, bring out the kind of water we're talking about, and not necessarily just any kind of water. And then it was also critical to make, for other group to bring the picture of depicting the importance of water and sanitation in the national development context of our country. So raising those issues were quite a good learning process that we needed to go back and forth on to be able to push our advocacy agenda. So those are just the two very important points probably I want to make from our perspective in terms of success stories and in terms of learning, that we want to bring on the table. Thank you so much.
Has anybody